The elemental realm is basically a reflection of this realm. So fairies use trees as portals, so they come up through the tree in their realm and out through the tree in our realm, but it's upside down. So our tree's like this, their tree's like this. They come up this way and then come out through our tree. We have abandoned the realms. You know, as humans, we've gotten so far away from ourselves, because this is basically part of ourselves, part of our existence. The extraterrestrial realm, we've gotten away from the human realm. We've abandoned ourselves. You can't have one without the other. This one's name is Andreo, and he's a she being, so he's of the Fae realm. So if you think of the fairies or the elves in Lord of the Rings, he's like one of those. Often these ones come to me because they're going to teach me something.
So much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. Let's get into what you do, though, and how that all started for you.
Okay. First of all, I should probably say I'm a facilitator at Light Body Academy, where I connect with people with their elemental connections or their curiosity as to whether they have those. So that's what I do. And so how did this start? Well, it started when I was a child, and I used to be looking for fairies everywhere in the woods all the time. It's all I could think about. And this went on for years and years and years. And I would go to my grandma's house, and she lived right on the edge of the forest in the mountains of BC. I live in Canada. And as kids, of course, we'd just run around in the forest all day. It didn't matter how old we were. We'd just go out there and we'd run around. And I'd be looking for them. But I never did see them, but I knew they were there. And then, you know, life sort of takes you away, got married, had kids, all of that. And then I started doing crop circle research. And during that time, things started to wake up. So I started having communications with extraterrestrials. And I know that a lot of this sounds far-fetched, but I was a fairly normal person. And I'm still a fairly normal person. But this is happening to normal people. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that these things, if you're open to them, can happen to pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
So then I became a Buddhist teacher and practitioner for about 18 years. And during that time, a friend of mine had sent me, who's a head of a crop circle scientific research group in Massachusetts, sent me a video of a Sasquatch talking.
No way.
And yeah, and it was like something inside me. And now this is a common thing that happens with people when they're on the verge of having sort of awakenings, you know, you can call them. Something twigs that, and we can talk about that a little later. But yeah, so what awakens these things inside of us? So anyway, this was my Sasquatch awakening. So then through that, I started having connections with Sasquatch. And there's a story behind that. I don't know how involved you want to get in that, but that led me to meet with Christina Supke, who is the founder of Light Body Academy. And from there, this place where I was connecting with Sasquatch closed one day. I think they were working on the parking lot. And so I drove up the mountain and went into this magical place. And I realized there's something going on in this forest. So I went back with my daughter a few months later, and we went further down the path and came across, well, I could call it a fairy portal. This giant maple tree with, you know, the classic little door opening in the bottom. And we just looked at it and went, it's a fairy portal. And so we both started just taking video, and it just, that relationship just evolved from there. I kept going back there, and I kept getting more and more content from that place. And I started actually learning things from them in that place. And that has snowballed. And so I guess that what that leads into is the question of thin places. I think what people would call, where do you find a fairy portal?
Yeah.
So there are places in nature that you would call a hyperdimensional space.
Yeah.
They're just naturally like that. And you've probably heard of these before. But you can actually create a thin place with your energy field. And that's another thing I help people cultivate so that they can have these interactions anywhere they go. Because these beings are everywhere. You know, they're not just in certain places. It's just if you go to a thin place, there's an energetic match that happens that creates an opening for you to see them. So
Amazing. Okay, let's go back a little bit to Sasquatch. What happened
sure.
with that? What was the energetic pull there? How did this relationship develop? I'm really intrigued by this.
Okay. Well, there are many directions this can go, and that's for sure. So, so yes, I hear this sound of this voice. So this is, it's awakening something inside you. Often it's through DNA. It's through your DNA that hasn't been activated. So we've all had relationships with these beings in the past. And of course, in varying degrees, varying people. But right now, there are thousands, literally, of people all over the world connecting with Sasquatch in this way. And a lot of them are starting to talk about it. So the thing about Sasquatch is they are a wonderful connector between the human realm and the Fae realm because they can be in both. They're interdimensional beings, so they can be in and out of this reality and do pop in and out all the time. Now, I want to say or give a caveat to that because it's very much like people. We tend to categorize beings as they're this way or they're that way, or all fairies are like this, all Sasquatch are like this. But they're just like us. They have personalities, they have likes and dislikes. So not all Sasquatch love humans. However, the ones that do love them like brothers and sisters. So having said that, so the ones that are closer to civilization, so a lot of people don't realize that Sasquatch are everywhere. They're in our green spaces in the cities. They're in the parks. And because they can cloak themselves, you won't necessarily know they're there, but they do leave signs. So we'll go back a little bit now, back to how this connection sort of started to happen. So I started, once this happened, thinking, I've got to find these beings. So it lit something up inside me. You can feel this feeling in your body. An energetic sort of tingling comes up when something important is happening. So, of course, I get this all through my body, and this has happened to me before, and I didn't really recognize what it was. But now I'm aware enough that, okay, I realize this means something. So I have to find them. How am I going to get into the mountains? Who's going to go with me? I don't have time. You know, it's way up there. Can I physically do it? All this. And then I didn't realize they could be so close to civilization.
Yeah.
So I'm walking this wetlands. I've been walking for 20 years. And I had done crop circle research there. So I knew this place really, really well. I knew every inch of this place. So I'm walking along. And I had read about Sasquatch making stick structures in the wood. They make, we can see some of these too later if you like. They make these teepee-like structures, and they're not all teepee-like, but that's just one way to describe a type that they do. And they also leave stick glyphs on the ground, and that can include rocks and leaves and other things. So I'm walking along the wetlands, and I pass by this structure. It's just beside the path, and they'll often put these things very close to people because they want to see who's going to notice. And not necessarily think, okay, somebody made this, kids made it, somebody made it. And that does happen.
Yeah.
But they're going to question, maybe that's not so. Maybe somebody else did this. Who's going to notice this? So they put things where people are so they can see who's noticing. And so I walked past it, and then I backed up and went, what the heck? It's right here. I don't have to go to the mountains. Yeah. And then I'd read about gifting places. So then I started a gifting place with them. So you find a place that's close to the structure and you go start putting things down. And so I put down a few marbles and a die. So I put it on the number 3. I put down 3 marbles. I put them on a leaf and behind a tree. And then I would just keep going back to visit this. And eventually things started to move and happen. They would take a marble. They would put a different marble in. They would turn the dice over. They would take a marble and then they would turn the dice from a 3 to a 2. And those sorts of things started to happen. And
Wow.
it was the most fun. But then I thought to myself, this has to be going somewhere. Where is this relationship going? And a lot of people don't take it any further than the gifting part. They're just overwhelmed by the idea they're having a communication with a mystical being.
Mm.
And so it doesn't go like, what is my role in this relationship? So to me, that was important. Why am I having this communication?
Yeah.
And I thought there have to be other people. And later I learned that there are hundreds and thousands of people having these communications with them now. So
Beautiful. Wow. So you were talking about earlier, you mentioned making like light places. How does one begin to do that?
well, we have a method that we teach in Light Body Academy, and I like to call it walking in beauty because it's so pertinent to going into nature. So what you do is, and I'm just going to give you the basic outline because it's more of a process, and it is a
Yeah.
practice. It's like meditation. You don't do it once and expect to be a good meditator.
Right.
You have to cultivate this. You're cultivating your energy field in a particular way. So basically you're going behind your eyes and deep, deep, deep down into your body. And then you're filling your energy field with light. But at the same time, you're smiling into all of these different rhythms in your body as you're going down. And so what that does is creates this feeling of joy that just rises within you. And
Yeah.
so then you're infusing your energy field with this light and with this joy. So then when you go into nature, you are a match for the beings that you want to connect with. And you're not a match for those you don't want to connect with. So, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I know it sounds very simple, but I know that this sub doing something like this takes a lot of practice. It's a
Because we're
lot of
so out of our
practice.
body most of the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and you'll learn that when you try to meditate. Because I was a meditation teacher. So it's difficult to. The great thing about getting into your rhythm as opposed to just a meditation is you're concentrating, your mind is moving down, down into your body. So you're constantly moving. It's not like you're concentrating on one thing, you're concentrating on something in the same way, but you're moving, your mind is moving. And sometimes that's easier for people than just trying to sit there and concentrate on your breath.
Yeah.
So you're moving and then you're down and then you're filling your body, but you're also, this joy is coming up because you're
Yeah.
actually cultivating the joy part. So that is a very conducive space to be in to have encounters.
And speaking on relationships, because you were mentioning before, you were beginning to think like, where is this relationship with Sasquatch going? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Creating meaning out of that, I guess. What do you think, when you think about the elementals, the fairies and the gnomes and, everything that encompasses, what do you feel is their role? Because like we all have a role here, right? We all contribute to this amazing experience that we're all having here on earth. So what do you think that role is? And actually, do they actually influence our experience of earth?
Those are two very good questions. um, wow. Okay, so the first part. So can we go back to the first part? What was the first part of that question again? Because things start coming in, get a little
No
scrambled.
worries, no worries. Their role, like the role of the Fae people.
Right.
their role here on earth, because we all have a part to play.
Yes. And they used to be part of this. They actually used to be a physical part of this reality. This was hundreds of years ago. And because of our relationship with them at the time, they disappeared. And they can basically say people, they went underground, but they're in this alternative realm, or an overlapping realm is a good way to put it. So now I also just want to say before we carry on with that there's a lot of prevalent talk about the relationship in the Celtic countries with the Fae and how that's kind of gone sideways, and it's not a negative, or it's not necessarily a positive situation. There's a lot of fear involved. One thing
Mm.
about being in other places, such as here, we don't have that history. And of course, it's in the DNA somewhere, but it's like our direct connection with the Fae in this space
Yeah.
isn't the same as that. So a lot of the conceptions that you hear about that relationship don't necessarily apply here.
Mm.
And actually, that whole thing is shifting over there as well, because that realm wants to connect with us. Because what happens is when we do things here to destroy nature, it actually affects that realm. And this is something people probably don't think about or haven't considered before.
Mm.
So it's like putting holes in cheese, like you Swiss cheese. It's like, so there have been consequences of that. And so it's them working with us together to help them come back to this realm, help us realize who we really are, and step into our full potential as human beings. So
Mm.
this is kind of what we're doing together.
Mm.
And they don't all want to do this. It's just like not all humans want to connect with that realm.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be certain ones who want to connect with certain humans that are both open and have an agreement to do this.
Yeah.
And something people can do if they want to.
Mm. And how do they, or do they even have any influence on our experience of this realm?
They can come in and out of this realm. It takes, for the Sasquatch, it's very easy because they can pop just in and out. But for some of the other fairies, it's a little like dumbing themselves down energetically. They have to lower that frequency to communicate with us. So it's not quite as easy as it is for us to communicate with Sasquatch. They can give us physical evidence. Not that fairies can't do that and have done that. It's just not as easy for them as it is for Sasquatch. So, yeah, the energy is a little different. Yeah.
Speaking on the roles that we play here, because you mentioned before how whatever it is that we're doing here on Earth, that it does affect them and their realm. How do you think we can begin to bridge that gap between this world and their world, whereby we can work cohesively together to actually, I guess, be nicer to Earth?
Hmm. One thing that, well, I'm just getting a whole thing right now. One thing that's so important for people is just to be in nature, because it's really hard to have a relationship with nature without being there. And it's really hard to have a relationship with these beings without connecting with them in that
Mm.
place, because they help to nurture plants and flowers and trees. So the farther you get into a city, the fewer and fewer you're going to find. They're prolific in nature areas, you know. And the thing that our job is when we're there is to acknowledge everything we see simply because it exists.
Yeah.
And this is a way of thinking that we don't offer our fellow humans. But a way to start doing that is to go into nature and to be aware of every leaf, every moss, every fern, every tree, like it is a living, breathing being, because it actually is. So it's like you walk into nature like you're walking through 2 feet of water. You're not on a mission to get somewhere. You're not going to exercise. You're going with the focused intention, and focused intention is very important. Your focused intention of connecting with the elemental realms, and that includes everything that you see.
Yeah.
And they will notice that you're doing this. And they're going to notice that if you cultivated this inside your energy field, that you are no longer an ordinary human, because you're cultivating yourself in a way that's different. And they'll notice that immediately
Yeah.
as soon as you enter their space. This person is making an effort to connect with us and with life. So this way of being inside yourself is the most conducive way to connect with that realm, and not just with them, but with other people.
Yeah.
So it's putting yourself in a place that's going to be a match for the things you want, not just with beings, but with humans too.
Mm.
I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah,
Or if I
it
went off
does.
somewhere.
No,
Okay.
it does. It does. Thank you. Yeah, that was a really good suggestion. I don't
Mm.
think, I don't know, like, do people actually hear, I mean, do people actually recognize what's around them when they walk through a park, or when they walk through a forest, right? Do people really like take in the trees and the plants and everything that's happening, as you were saying, the moss and all of those things? Like, there's a lot happening there that we tend to miss, right? And I think that's the key, like you saying, like, tune into those things. It's the finest details that you can tune into that can create a connection without you even recognizing it, right? Just having that intentional moment with nature and taking it in and really observing, but not just observing, but valuing what it is, valuing how it contributes to your life. Like, for instance, when I walk through the woods, I thank the trees, for example, right? Because they play such an important role in this ecosystem, right? Without trees, we couldn't breathe, right? So every little thing in nature plays a role in making life on Earth possible. So being able to recognize your connectedness to nature and all the elements is definitely the first step. So yeah, I definitely agree with
That
everything
sounds
you
like
just
you're
said.
really on the right track. Yes. And actually, I just had a conversation with someone about this that was really enlightening for them. That, how am I going to put this? That awareness, you're acknowledging that plant being's existence with your awareness. And that shifts everything. And doing this, and it's not going into the woods with someone to have a conversation. Because again, if you're going with someone else, it's a distraction. It's like this is something you need to go and do on your own so that you can cultivate your personal relationship with the elemental realm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so you're not going to have a chat with someone or deprogram or, de-stress or all those things. You're going in there on your own. And that alone freaks some people out, they don't like to be on their own in the forest.
Yeah.
So it's a process, and everyone's in a different place.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. So tell me more about the fairies. Like, what are they like? You spoke about Sasquatch. I know there's fairies, there's gnomes, and other things that I don't know about.
I don't know them all either. There are so many different kinds.
I bet.
Oh my
So tell
gosh.
me more. What's happening? What's going on? Who are these people?
Well, they are persons, I think it's a wonderful thing that you said. They are persons. Well, again, they all have different lives. They all do different things. They have personalities, likes and dislikes, the same way we do. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the tiny fairies because people have tended to discount them, but they bring this frequency of unbridled joy. And this is how they exist all the time. They're just in this frequency of unbridled joy, and we're losing that in humanity.
Yeah.
So they offer us that. There are so many different permutations of the Fae. I'm going to say fairies, just let's start with fairies, different types of fairies, and there can be hybrids of all of those. So one thing I always tell people once they're starting down this path is don't close your mind to the image that you have of a fairy. You know, the little Tinkerbell ones. Not that there aren't those, because there definitely are. And I do have some of those on my, videos and things. But they can come in any size, shape, or form because they can kind of show up the way they want to. They sort of manifest out of this plasma, and I'm going to call it plasma because I don't know what else it is, but it's like a little cloud of energy. And they can use more or less of this to manifest themselves in whichever way they want. So, in the various things I have, you'll see some slightly manifested out of that. Like, so you'll see the shape of their body, but they're still in this cloud of plasma. And some of them have used most of it up, and you can definitely see the difference. One looks more translucent, and the other one looks like it's pretty much in this reality. So they can create themselves pretty much any way they want to from their own intention. So, yeah, so that's the little guys. And the thing is, I know my own relationship with them. You know, I can't tell you what everybody's relationship is or what they're sort of generally like, other than things that I've heard or I'm talking from my own experience is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to know, I can't know it all.
I feel like, of course, it's like any other relationship, right? With humans, you have different relationships with different people. So I think the same applies. You know, one person's relationship to the Fae won't be your relationship to the Fae, right? So, and that's
and even
just
your
how it is.
relationship with one with one of those beings. I'm sorry. Yeah, your relationship with one of those beings. So my relationship with a particular Sasquatch, let's just say, isn't going to be the next person's relationship with that same Sasquatch.
Exactly.
And it's just the same with people. You know, my relationship with this person isn't going to be the same as this person's relationship with that other person.
Right.
So this is why I'm saying it's only my experience, because I can't speak to anything else.
Yeah. How, like, knowing all of this information, or having been able to communicate with the elementals, when you think about, I guess, the broader spectrum and begin to think about Mother Earth, and how, where she is kind of situated, right? How do you perceive our relationship to her right now? And I know it's been a struggle. It has been a struggle because, you know, like, we've been talking about global warming, we've been talking about pollution, all sorts of different pollution, and the way that we treat Earth. So, where do you feel like she's kind of situated right now in the midst of all of this?
Well, there's a few things. One is that when we think of things like global warming, etc., we think we're destroying the Earth, but really we're destroying ourselves.
Yeah.
The Earth is still going to be here. The Earth has flicked us off before.
Right.
You know,
people don't know this.
No, they
She
think
could
that
just
we're
be like, get out of here, and we're done.
Okay, you guys. Well, then the other side of that is we are the keepers of this realm, 3D,
Yeah.
right? We're just not doing a very great job of it right now. And I'm not going to say
Right.
we as a whole. I mean, if you look at it, because we hear a lot of negative stuff. There's a lot of very positive things going on behind the scenes
Yes,
of people that are waking up to this. And I think this is the point of all the things we're talking about. There's so
exactly.
many people waking up to this right now that we cannot sever ourselves from our connection with the earth and all of her beings. And what we want to do now is try to get back to that. And whichever way it is. And you can do this in your home by just collecting plants, putting a fountain. You got the elements happening in your own house. And you can attract these beings into your home this way, like candles for, you just have the elements going. You've got water, you've got earth with your plants, you've got fire if you light a candle. And of course, you've always got air. So, yes, these beings will come into your home if you have an environment that's welcoming to them and you've done it intentionally with your focused awareness and you've invited them in. So it's not so much that we've just become disconnected is all. So we just need to reconnect in whatever way we can.
Mm.
And just to think, because I live in a city, I can't do this. I don't know about you in the States, but in Canada, we have so many wild parks in the middle
I'm
of our
actually in
cities.
Canada.
Are you? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Oh, well, goodness gracious. Then you have lots of places you can go. That's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. Oh, great. Because any of those parks, you can start communicating with Sasquatch in any of those parks if you want to.
I was just
They're
in the
there.
woods yesterday.
Okay. So then it's just knowing it's just good for you. I love hearing that. So then it's just knowing what to look for when you're there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I love going up to Muskoka area. So beautiful.
Mm.
Anywhere where there's a lot of nature. Canada has a lot of amazingly beautiful landscape.
Yes,
So
we really do.
my goodness, it's
Hmm.
breathtaking. So like
Yes.
anywhere with a lot of nature, you're good. So
Yeah. And you
beautiful.
sound the way you're talking about it that you have it lights you up when you talk about it, you know?
Hmm. I love
And that's
nature.
what you need. You need that. Yes. Oh, well, you could start doing this any old time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay
I should maybe
tuned.
talk about I should maybe talk about this for a minute. I run something called the Forest Wisdom Circle where I help people cultivate their relationships and start their
Oh,
relationships with these other beings.
oh,
So
cool.
you're welcome to come. It's the first Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
Mm.
And this month, of course, it's going to be on April 30th because we have some of us are camping out in nature
Oh, nice.
and in the beginning of May. So April 30th is the next one. But this is a place where people can come if they want to and they're interested in doing this with them for themselves.
Mm.
You can learn how to do that. And we go through the energy field thing and we get information from the Sasquatch and the fairies and talk about what's important in those connections. Yeah.
Beautiful. I
And
love that.
people share their experiences they're having. Yeah, it's really interesting and fun. And we have
I'll
people from different
definitely,
parts of the world.
I'll definitely follow up with you on that. You know,
Oh, that's great.
what the has Sasquatch or the fairies or any one of them have they communicated anything to you that you feel like will be important to
Oh
share?
my gosh, so many things. Well, I'm just going to say one thing that we heard from. We went to Ireland a couple of years ago,
Mm.
and we had an encounter with a very human-sized fairy there. And the human-sized ones don't tend to have wings, but that doesn't necessarily mean they don't. This one didn't. Um, but she was saying, what they want from us as humans is don't come swallowing. And this is how they put it, don't come swallowing. And that means don't come to them looking to, like, grasping for something.
Mm.
You want to come to them as an equal. And this is often what we do. We tend to put other beings ahead of ourselves. They want you to come to them for community, for exchange, for working together to this purpose we were talking about before. And so this is one big thing that they said to us, is which we don't do, because we learned this before. We know don't do this, right? But this is a message for others. This is a message for people, because we often come groveling, is maybe a way to put it, or grasping. The other thing, same thing goes with any relationship. Sasquatch, same thing. We don't put them above ourselves. We come as equals, looking to, and it's a fun game. It's a fun game to play. But, and they have a fabulous sense of humor, the Sasquatch do. But, you're coming for a common purpose. You're coming together for a common purpose. The other thing Sasquatch says is forget everything you know. So everything we know is not the way it seems.
Yeah.
And so if you can go into nature with that, so everything I'm seeing isn't the way I actually think it is. It's all living and breathing and have beings associated with them. So there are beings in the trees. There are tree beings. There are fern beings. It's just that because it hasn't come into our awareness that this is so, it's hard for us to conceive of things that we haven't heard anything about or have no idea about.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm doing is giving you the idea so that you can go out there, or anyone can go out there. And this really helps with this engagement thing, right? Seeing it as a being and not just a thing. So seeing a plant, let's just say a fern, seeing a fern as a fern being and not just a plant.
Yeah.
So that really helps with this, looking at everything and acknowledging it because it exists as on a level we can't really comprehend right now.
So true. Yeah. It's all living. It's all living.
Yeah, in a way that we can't really see.
Yeah. Well, that it just goes back to how disconnected that we've been, right? Because we don't even see ourselves. So how can we see that? How can we see them?
Precisely. And actually, I heard someone talking yesterday, and the Sasquatch had asked them, why are you interested in us when you're not? Why do you want to know us when you don't know yourself?
Ooh. Oh.
That's a zinger, right?
Oh.
And there are many answers to that question, depending on the person, right? But these are the things they will do. They will throw these things at you, and you will go away and think about them for a very long time, and then something eventually will shift. But when they dispense anything like that, there are so many layers to it. So I have had experiences where they've given me things in different ways, and I'm like looking at this going, what is the deeper meaning? Like, why is this? And in the beginning, it would take a year or two for me to get the next piece.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden because I'm not able to connect the dots. And when I'm able to connect the dots after a while, then it's like, oh, then they go, I can give them the next piece. And then they'll give you another piece. So there's layers to what they say and what they do with you. Oops, I just made a big spill.
Oh.
There we go.
Everything okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It will be.
Yeah. You were saying.
Oh, that's very, there's so many. I have had huge teachings from them. It's hard to dispense it in just a word or just a small phrase, but they're teaching all the time in so many different ways. And once you have opened your awareness to the possibilities, I think that is, of the ways they can connect with you, and you understand that there are layers to it, so you're waiting for the next thing to come. And you also have to think of when they give you something or they say something, or you have an experience and you have to think, like just say let's take the gifting. That's maybe a good way to go back to for most people to be able to absorb it. So when they're gifting with you and you've gifted for a little while, you don't want to gift forever, because then it becomes like you give me this, I give you this. And then what's the purpose of that?
Yeah.
So you're trying to think, what is the deeper purpose of me gifting with the Sasquatch? What is it that I'm here to learn? It's because we can have these experiences, like have a Fae experience, capture something on camera, and oh, there's a fairy in my camera, in my film. And we'll get excited about it and go, oh, wow, that's great. Where is that taking me? So that's the next layer of once you get over the excitement of I'm having a relationship with a mystical being, and that does take a while. Once we're through that part, where are we going to go with that? What is it I want to get out of this? What is it they want to give me? And what can we do in this situation together?
Yeah.
So it's not just for fun. I guess it can be. And some people do keep it at that level. But for me anyway, it was like a heart call. I knew there was something more to this than meets the eye. But unless you ask yourself that question, it's not going to go deeper. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you for that, Laurel. You mentioned the other elementals earlier. You spoke about fire and water. Because I think when we think about these things, we think about them in a very, I guess, mundane, everyday kind of way, in like how we use them in our lives, or we might think about them in a scientific way as to the role that they play. But thinking about them on another dimension whereby these are like they contain life force energy, right? That's just like now a different dimension of that. Can you talk about that for a
Yes.
bit?
I'm so glad you said that. I think it's important, if this interests people, to go look at what Veda Austin is doing. Have you heard of Veda Austin?
No.
Have you ever heard of Masaru Emoto? And he was
Yes.
freezing water. Okay, so she has
Yeah.
taken that to a whole new level where she's actually having communications with the water.
Oh.
And this is a very good example of what water has to offer humanity that we've completely overlooked. So water is, how would she describe this now? Oh, I can't remember the words that she used. But it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle for communication with an elemental realm being, and you can imprint the water. It can show you answers, but water is also a portal. So water can be a portal between the realms. So when you know these things and you go out and look at water, I'm telling you, I've had some interesting. Once this concept comes up, and you're out in nature and looking at, again, anything, so many things can be had, but looking at water, and all of a sudden water shows you something.
Yeah.
It was always there, but now you're looking at it in a completely different way, and there's a message in that for you. So then it starts to get personal, you see. So, and something as simple as a reflection of something on the water. So once you know that realm, the elemental realm, is basically a reflection of this realm. It looks the same, but say it's upside down. So fairies use trees as portals. So they come up through the tree in their realm and out through the tree in our realm.
Yeah.
So, but it's upside down. So our tree's like this, their tree's like this. They come up this way and then come out through our tree. So if you're looking at that and you look at the water and you see a reflection in the water, if you know that, you can see that reflection in a completely different way. So this is what I mean is you're looking at everything with new eyes. You're not looking at it as an ordinary being anymore.
Mm. Wow. Yeah. That's definitely a different perspective. Yeah.
It changes everything.
Oh, yeah.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Wow. Going back to portals, mentioning portals, I think what we've heard more about, people have a lot of the times focused on these huge points on Earth with these powerful portals, but then there are also smaller ones. I mean, there could be a portal in your backyard, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? How can we begin to, I guess, understand portals and, I guess, how we can interact with it? Or I don't know, like, how can we begin to have, I guess, a better relationship with these things? Because, like, I know, like, there are people who they tend to just focus on the huge ones, like these very significant points on Earth where there's all sorts of activities and everything. And as you said, like, these things are all around us. Like, yes, I'm sure there's bigger, more powerful areas, like significant areas of crazy activity going on for various different reasons. But there's also like these other things that are equally important, that are equally valuable, that's happening right in our backyard, that's happening right, as you said, in the park.
I think the thing is listening to your inner voice. That's one thing. What's happening in your body when you're in a place? What are your feelings? What do you feel is going on? And listening to that is really, really important just in life in general. But again, if you are in walking in beauty, as I like to call it, you're in this zone with your energy field all filled with this joyous light, and you walk in with this feeling of joyous anticipation, something magical is going to happen. Again, you'll be a frequency match for those areas. And so they'll just become apparent to you.
Yeah.
So and in a way where, I guess the best way to put that is, if you're walking through, and this is how I found this fairy portal in the first place, a feeling comes up inside, and I found many. They're all over the place, honestly. If you're walking through the forest and you get the feeling there's something magical going on here, there's something magical going on here. And you're trusting this feeling that's coming up inside you. So I can give you an example of one, a different one than this one that I found walking up this mountain. I live on a river and there's a dike going around it. So I get on my bike and I ride my bike in beauty instead of walking. And I get on my bike, and I'm telling you, you just have the best time when you're doing this. There's nobody around. It's like you are just having the time of your life. And everything, because what happens is the joy that you're creating in this field, that energy comes to meet you from nature.
Yeah.
So what's happening is it's getting infused, not just from inside you, from outside as well. So this is how you're creating the thin space. But it really hit home this one day. So I'm going along having the best time ever. And I'm driving my bike around, and I go across a little bridge, and I come to the other side, and I'm going down the other side, and it hits me all of a sudden. And I've been down there many times. This place. And I can feel it coming up through here, and that feeling of joy gets amplified, and you can feel it rising up inside you. That's how you know. And you can tell when it stops, because I ride, and then that feeling goes away, and then you turn around and it comes back.
Yeah.
So it's very much paying attention to your intuition and what's happening inside you physically, because we get these feelings and we don't think much of them, but there's something to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It just goes back to what you were saying earlier about being connected to yourself, right?
Yeah, it all goes back, always.
Yeah.
All the questions go back there. Yes.
They all lead back to the same place.
Yes, they do. And it's all us. It's all here. It's not out there. It's all in here.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
literally all the conversations I've had on this show, it's it all goes back to the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just coming from a different angle, but it all goes back to the same thing. Just
Isn't that interesting?
reconnecting with yourself. Yes,
Yeah.
remembering who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting back to ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. So, I don't know. I mean, there's just so many questions that I have, and I don't know where to begin.
There's so many places to go. I know.
So many places to go with this.
Yeah.
But what would you say, because you mentioned earlier in the conversation, right? When you talk about folklore and the ideas that some people might have of the Fae, what would you say overall are some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to the Fae people? What is it that we're not getting right when we think about them?
I think a lot of times we don't think about them.
Mm,
That's the first
that's
thing.
true.
We don't think about them.
Well, let's start from
Because,
there.
yeah, it's like we have abandoned the realms.
Yeah,
As humans, we've gotten so far away from ourselves because this is basically part of ourselves, part of our
yeah.
existence. The extraterrestrial realm, we've gotten away from the human realm. We've abandoned ourselves, you know? So you can't have one without the other. We can't
Right.
separate ourselves from this. We've tried to. We've
Yeah.
both tried to from both sides. But it's something that we've realized um, that we need to come back to ourselves, and it's something that we do together.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm. What do you think they would want? Like you mentioned earlier about grasping, when we go and we're grasping. I think when we begin to reorient ourselves to this information, like as you said, some of us, we tend to have like a hierarchy, like a hierarchical way of thinking. Like, first of all, it was like the opposite way whereby humans are on top and everything else is below. We've been
Mm-hmm.
taught that from a very young age that we are the end all be all, this complete nonsense, as if we're the only ones in the universe. And that's not true. And then we get to this point of re education and relearning and restructuring our thought patterns, our mind frame, right? Our mindset. And when you begin to recognize and wake up to certain truths, then the hierarchy flips on the other side, whereby now some of us think like, oh, it's a higher being, and we're like down here
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous, isn't it, when you think of it that way? That's really well put.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy. And if you actually look at that, it does seem nuts.
Yeah, it does. So
What are
like,
we doing? We don't know what we're doing.
yeah. So it's just like we also, I think it's that the fact that we've been programmed in a way whereby we are powerless
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, whereby there's just always this external thing that we get our value from. So that also plays a role into it. There's too many levels for us to get into it today. But
Mm-hmm.
like I'm just saying that to say that how can we best approach the Fae people? How can we best approach them like wholeheartedly? Of course, it goes back to connecting with yourself when you're talking about like um orienting our energy field to being able to be receptive to that energy, and to also attract that energy to ourselves when we're out in nature. But yeah, I'll let you just continue with
Okay,
that.
there's a few ways that could go. But the first thing I want to say is that when you have this within your energy field and it's clean and it's clear, it becomes impeccable. there's an impeccability that comes with you that they recognize. So it's it's a no bullshit zone. You know, everyone's real with each other. It's impeccability with who you are, with what you say, with what you think. It's all that comes with cleaning this energy field out. And this is something that we teach in every facet of Light Body Academy. Every facilitator teaches this, because it's so important if you want to have good relationships in general, but particularly with beings you don't know that much about. You know, you want to meet the ones that have the same impeccability that you have, that you carry within your field.
Yeah.
So that is key to, I mean, it just keeps going back there. And as far as becoming grasping, as you'd mentioned that earlier, so a good example is when we had gone to Ireland and Scotland, and to connect with the Fae realm. First we went to Ireland, and we went for only 4 days, but there were 4 of us, and we just got in a van and went out into the middle of nowhere and found some incredible spaces. Like, we drove along this old dirt road, and all of a sudden there's a teeny tiny stone circle there. It's like about 5. This is where we met the fairy that I was telling you about. And there was a very huge contrast between that and the energy there than going to, not that there aren't overrun places in Ireland, because we have seen those too, but the places where people want to go all the time that are overrun with tourists, the energy is inundated. It's inundated. And people often go to these places to get something from them. So, like, it's a well. And so we go to these wells, and you would see things that people want things from this well.
Yeah.
And they're hanging things. And so they're grasping, is what I'm trying to say. And you can feel that grasping energy has depleted the energy of that place that it was originally meant to be. Because it's not just that you're coming asking for something. You are grasping, you are groveling, all those things. You're not coming to that being as equal. Hey, I could use a hand right now, sort of idea. Are you willing to assist me in this? Which is completely different than, begging for assistance. So it's an energetic. Well, first of all, your energy field's an energetic calling card. We'll start with that. But it's an energetic, you're matching the energy so that you can be of assistance to each other.
Yeah.
It's a give and take situation. It's not just us. Again, because we're doing this, with who those beings are. And we're completely losing our own, I could use the word power, but we're losing our own capabilities and sensibilities that we probably had years and years and years ago in relation to that. It's like everything deteriorated. So going to places that are inundated with human grasping, it's like, I don't know that I'd want to do that again. It was way more purposeful and useful to go into these places where people don't go very often. And then you could have a more real relationship there,
Yeah. I know you had some videos for us of some of the experiences that you've had out in nature. Did you want to go ahead and give us a little preview?
Sure. I've just soaked my mouse pad. I'm just
Oh
going to
my
put this over here.
goodness.
I'm going to grab a piece of paper.
Is everything okay over there?
Yes, everything's okay. I just need some paper. I'll just use this. There we go. It's a little wet, but that's okay. I can clean that up later. All right. So I'll just share my screen here. Oh, share button. is it coming up here? This window. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. I've never seen it come up this way before. No, I'm going to have to go back because I'm going to have to be, I can't actually share screen. There we go.
Got it?
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to pull this up so you can see it, and I won't be able to see you once again.
Oh.
Okay, hopefully that's big enough. I can only get it so big here. Well, okay, the fairy is right here. This is someone else I discovered later, and we can talk about that after we've talked about this. And this kind of shows you that. So I've got a course, and it's just going up online, called The Real World of Fairies, Photographing the Unseen Realms. And the real reason I called it that is because you're going to get things on your camera that aren't necessarily what you're actually going after. You're going to get other things on there, this being one of those. And that will be up on the Light Body Academy website May 1st. And I will teach you how to do this walking in beauty. We'll go through some Fae history, and we'll go through a lot of this footage so that you can see how and when to capture and that sort of thing, what to look for in your videos. Anyway, so this fairy's name is Francesca, and she's over on the tree now. Can you see her?
Whoa, that is crazy.
Yes, this was really my very first. I shouldn't say it's my first. I'm confused now because I'm going to say one of my first. Yes. This blew my mind. Honestly, I've had so many moments where I couldn't sleep at night because of realizing this is real as I've been going along. And then I also realized people need to see this because it is real.
Wow, it's so pretty.
Yeah, her name's Francesca. She's a fairy queen. So if you go into an area like a portal, usually the king or the queen is the first to greet you because, again, you're getting vetted constantly. I'm still getting vetted all the time. And you're getting vetted for different things and different reasons. But she's coming out to say, is this person cool for everybody else to be involved with? And so there she is. And you can see right here, these little things, they look like tubes. They're actually her wings moving around. And what I do usually at the end of these is I do a painting so that you can actually, because people have different resistances and blind spots to what's there. So some people will look at this and they'll see her very clearly. Other people will look at this and they'll see some shapes moving. Other people will just see a blob. So because we have all these blind spots and resistances to this being a real thing. So again, we're all looking through our own lens, I guess is the best way to put it. So again, this may be, so she's got this top set of wings. She's also got a bottom set. Here you'll see like a dark spot. That's the break in her dress where her knees bend. Oh. And she's got these floaty things on her head that float around as she flies. You can see one of them right here, and they're kind of going across. But down here is her second set of wings. They're in motion too, but she's got two sets. And her foot's down here. So I'll just show you that again as she's moving.
Oh, wow.
But this is one reason you can't get anything that's really worth seeing on just a still shot. You need video or live shots if you have an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, you can use an app for Android to get a live shot, but video is just as good. Just start shooting video. If you have that feeling coming up, I'm in a magical place. So that's her. And I'll show you here in a minute the painting, but let's have a look at this other guy over here, right here. Oh, sorry, she's about 2 feet tall. I should just say that. So she's a lot bigger than she looks in this picture. And over here we have this little guy. And you can see as I go along here, you will see his eyebrows clench up. So right there, they're scrunched up.
Yeah. I see
And then you go
that.
back here and they're not. So he's, I don't know what he's doing, but he's a very interesting little guy. So there you can see them scrunch up again.
He looks like he's just chilling.
Yep. Oh, he's watching her for sure. He's very aware of her.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean about you don't know what's in your pictures. I didn't discover him until much later because I was so focused on her. But here I have a still. And this gives you a better idea of what you're looking at for people that are having a hard time seeing what's there. So here you can see these floaty things that are on her. This is her crown. It's very different than we would think of a crown normally. And I've drawn her wings still here so that you can see what they actually look like. But here they're moving, and that's why they look like they're twirly. Mm-hmm. And here's her second set down here, and you can see this dark spot here where the break in her dress is. Mm-hmm. So people find this helpful. So I've been doing a lot of this so they can see what's there, whether it's... So that's Francesca. And here we have, this is golden hour. Fairies love golden hour. When the sun's just about going down, and you can see the reflection on the water, which is amplifying that energy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see them all. There's all kinds of fairies in this picture. So what I do is when I'm looking over the camera to see if in real life you can see what I'm seeing in the camera. Mm-hmm. And there you couldn't see these little white dots in my camera at all. Yeah. And I couldn't see her. I call this one Skater Girl because she's wearing a little toque or a beanie as they call them in the US. Whoops. Sometimes I have to make this smaller to grab the cursor. There we go. Okay, she's going to come in from the left. I mean, from the right. Sorry, the other left. And, oh, there she is. So she starts off right there, right here. She's about 8 to 9 inches long, about the size of a bird. Mm. And she's on her back here, and she's going to do what's called a barrel roll. So she'll go from her back to her front to her back as she goes across here. I'll do that again. So there she's on her stomach. There she's on her back again.
Oh.
And I'll show you a blow up of her. So she's one of the ones that's very manifested into this reality. So when I show you the close-up, you'll see there's almost like a film around the outside of her. That is what's left of the plasma field she has manifested from. So here you can see her little hat, and her hair is coming down this way. Here's her arm coming down this way. And of course, these magnificent wings. And you can see the sort of fuzzy outline here. That is what's left of her plasma field. Mm. And here's one a little farther away, because sometimes it's easier for people to see them when they're not quite so close. Yeah. But here is the drawing that I've done of her. So that might help a little bit.
Wow. That is so
Those
good.
wings are something.
It's pretty. Wow.
So does this help you see what's there? If you could get really close to this, and you probably can't. I don't know if people can blow this up somehow on there, but you can see the 2 dots for her eyes. Yeah, right there. See it. Oh, good. Great.
Yeah, I see it.
So that's her. That's Skater Girl. And this next one, we're up at that fairy portal I was talking to you about in the very beginning. So this is when I went back with my daughter, and this is actually her footage. And so the fairies are going to fly around this tree. They're going to come in and out of this hole. One of them's going to come right out of the tree at one point. And this is in winter. I think this is in February. The original one. So I've copied this quite a few times. This one says December, but it wasn't December. I was pretty sure it was February. So there are no bugs out. Very few birds. Just going to take this down here. They've done something to this iOS where it's really hard to grab this cursor unless I make this smaller. Anyway, Here we go. I call these two Tibby and Tansy. There's one going. So right there, as this one comes into that little hole, you can see her. And I've got a blow up of this. She's tiny. She's probably 2.5 inches big. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get there. But you can really see her. So when I saw this, I thought, I wonder if she's a little slower coming out of the tree. I bet you I can get a still. And sure enough, there it was. But we'll get to that a little later. We'll go through this. So there's that one. That one comes right out of the tree. You can see it coming right out there.
Yeah.
And then it flies around. So before I go on to the stills, there's something else in this picture. And this is why it's so great to go back over your pictures or your video over and over again, because you're going to see things that you don't see the first few times because you're so freaked out about seeing what you're seeing. So this, if you look at the hole, so look at this hole here and here. Now watch it change color. Can you see the red?
Yeah, I see the red.
Okay, I'm going to go, it gets brighter. So you can see it's very dull right now, right?
Yeah.
There, can you see the red in it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go out again.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that, like, these are the nights I can't sleep. This blew my mind. This is in the very beginning. Not that this wouldn't blow my mind now, but it wouldn't be the same. So this is that fairy portal. And this tree is huge. I'll show you a picture of my daughter beside it later, and she's 5'9", and she comes up to about here. So this tree is huge. It's got 2 giant trunks. This is about 2 feet, this opening. So here she is. So this big pile on her head is actually a hat.
Oh.
You can see it over here. And then her arm comes down here. You can see that here.
Yeah.
And her little vest. And this is the rest of what's left over of her manifesting from that plasma. Now it's interesting that she's got her arm down in that bent way, because they kind of do that when they take off. And then when they get fully going, their arms go forward, both of them up, but they're bent at the elbows. I've got pictures of this in other ones as well.
Oh.
So that's her. Okay, this is going to open. There we go. Okay, so it's not my daughter. This is someone else. She's also 5'9". You can see where she is in proximity to this tree and how big this hole is.
It's a huge tree.
It's huge. It is huge. It's got 2 giant trunks. I think that they start separating right here. So this is just one of the trunks. The other one's just the same size on the other side.
Wow.
So this is an interesting story, because we'd gone to my house where I used to live and picked this rose to give them, and it has the most incredible smell. But what happened was, so if you have a plant and you pick a flower, the fairy will stay with the plant, not usually with the flower.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get cut flowers at home, there's usually no fairies with them. Now, it's not, there's always exceptions to the rules. But we picked this, we asked permission. You always ask permission first. Pick this. So this fairy came with us. So I'll show you what this looks like close up. So when you see the fairy, this isn't her. This is just a pile of debris.
Yeah.
So she's going to come out of this flower, and she doesn't know where she is. So what she does, and you can't see this because I have several videos, she comes out this way, she comes out this way, she comes out this way, trying to figure out where the heck am I now? So, nope, I've got to make this smaller again. There we go. Okay, so she's coming out the front in this video, and this is a 1 second video. There she is. I'll go back right there. She's right here.
Yeah.
So I'll go back and then I'll give you another painting so you can see the details a bit better. But that's it in a 1-second video. That is the flash. So you're looking for these little flashes that happen, and your eye gets trained to look for them after a while.
Yeah.
But like that's
Wow.
a fraction of a second. So here she is, and this is what she looks like. So you can see her legs, her feet are right here. Her knees are bent like this. And this actually looks like the flower, interestingly.
It does.
Obviously, this is the flower. And she's got her arms in that same configuration. You can see one here and one here. You see the angle of this?
Yeah.
That's her arm. And you can see this dark spot. That's her hair. So
Wow.
that is her. And again, she went back in and then out the other side. And out the other side, I have, 2 or 3 of these videos. And then the next one's from Ireland. So that might be interesting for people. So we went to this stone circle, and this is a place not many people go either. It's on the map, though, and anyone can go there. But it's in the middle of someone's pasture. And the circle itself is over here. You can see the ground is raised. I'm going to make this bigger again. And these are all hawthorn trees, which is a very common thing in stone circles. They've always got hawthorn trees around them over there.
Yeah.
So we're walking in this way. And so basically, this fairy is coming to, again, vet us. She's the queen. Her name is Brindle. And so this little green thing you see here is not the fairy. That's an artifact from the sun. And she's down in this corner right here in the left, and she'll come up and fly around.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's her. So when you slow this down and blow this up, this is what you'll see. So this is her. She's very much in her plasma ball here. She's not that manifested out of it. Here she is blown up. So you can see she's got her arms in that same configuration I was talking about, bent at the elbows and going upwards. This is her hair. These are some little sparkly things. I don't know what they are. Her dress is here. And there's actually 2 other little tiny beings in this, and I don't know who they are. But this is what I mean by looking at it more than one time, because I didn't see that because I was so concentrated on her.
Yeah.
For quite a while. But this is what she looks like. And this isn't the greatest painting, but it gives you the idea of what you're looking at. So here's her arms and obviously her hair. These are the little sparkly things. But this is her plasma ball that she is manifesting from. I'll go back to this one so you can see a bit better what you're looking at. So do you find it easier to see with the painting?
Yeah, I definitely see that.
That's great.
Really
I'm finding that's been really helpful for people to sort of get past the blind spots a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's her. And then I have paintings of other beings that I've done. Ones that I don't get on camera, but actually come to me. And I'm thinking, how can I represent these?
What
so
kind
would you
of
like
beings?
to see those? Well, they're very different. So different ones. So this one's name is Andrael, and he's a she being. So he's of the Fae realm. So if you think of the fairies or the elves in Lord of the Rings, he's like one of those. So human size, no wings. But these are beings that I have a huge collection of these that I'm going to be making into an oracle deck. And I'll have prints available of some of them.
Yeah.
But he showed up just like this, wearing all this ice blue from head to toe. And this hair, now this is interesting. I was like, wow. Because I had seen other people draw this hair on these beings. And I was shocked when I saw him this way. So I'm seeing him. He's flashing in and out of 3D when I see him. So I saw him this is in Scotland, on the other side of a creek. And all of a sudden he pops in and I'm looking at him, and then he's in my mind's eye, and then he's in reality, and then he's in my
Yeah.
mind's eye, and back and forth like this. Anyway, often these ones come to me because they're going to teach me something. So he's helping me with writing a book with Christina Zupke.
Oh,
And this is
wow.
Francesca. This is what her twirly things on her head look like.
That is
The
so
very first
neat.
fairy that I showed you, this is her face. So this gives you a better idea of what's on her head. And this guy's name is Ralphie. He was one of my first beings too.
So cute.
He's really interesting. He is a sweetie. He's much, much older than he looks. So on his back, you can see this. It's a cape of mycelium, like lichens. And he wears this. This is how he ties it on. And he wears this for different reasons. One is he communicates with it like a library or an internet. And the other one, if he needs to, he can hide underneath it like a turtle. But anyone who's got a staff like this, like Andrea had a staff, that denotes them having wisdom. So they're teachers basically for me. And I don't know if somebody else saw Ralphie, if he would look different than this. He may, because he may not have that role.
Yeah.
Same thing with this one. This one's name is Richard. He's obviously a gnome. And there again, Ralphie's a gnome, but there's many permutations of these beings. They're not all the same.
Yeah.
And it's just gnome's just a name we've given to this category of being. But often you'll see gnomes with red hats. So for him, it's the blue hat that denotes the fact that he's a teacher. When I saw him, I could see every single pore in his face. It was really interesting. And then this one, her name is Alphaedra. And how we were saying that golden hour is a frequency match for the Fae realm, or maybe we haven't said that. I'm going to say it. Golden hour, when the sun's going down, is a frequency match for the Fae realm. And so often you'll see them more, or you can see them or get them on camera more easily during golden hour. These beings are twilight beings, so they have the same frequency as twilight. So this is why the colors are blue, purple, because that's, when the sun actually goes down, those are the colors you see in the sky. So that is their frequency match. They have a relationship with the crows, and that's why the feathers that she's got here. They also have these silver spheres they carry. And those have to do with discerning truth as someone comes into their realm, discerning who that being is. Not quite sure exactly how that works for them, but this is what I know so far. And they all wear this uniform. Like a lot of them, the other ones, they just wear whatever they want. But these guys all wear this uniform. And she is like the overseer. She's I guess you could call it leader, and those change over time. But right now her name is Alphaedra, and they're called the Phaedro. So that's spelled with a PH, not an F.
Yeah.
So it's PHAEDRYHL. So this is what I mean about keeping your mind open to beings that you have never thought of or before. Like this person comes in, it's like, who is this? I've never seen a being like this before. So I think there's so many permutations we have no idea.
Fascinating.
So not just think there's just Sasquatch or there's just fairies. There's so much out there. And that is the end of that. There.
Wow. So fascinating. That was fun.
It is fun. I'm telling you, it's the most fun job in the world.
Thank you for showing me that, Laurel. Yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I love the little drawings. It's so pretty.
I just find it really helps people to see, because there are blind. So that's what we do in Light Body Academy. We have ways we have labs and different things where we clear out the blind spots and resistance. So I had a lot of help with that from Light Body in the very beginning. to seeing and having experiences and to opening up your intuitive abilities.
Yeah.
So that's Christina's specialty. She helps people expand their psychic awareness.
Amazing.
So we have Christina who does this. She's also the head of Light Body and heads up the Dreamtime Healing Project. So diving deeper into dreams. So it's not interpreting dreams. It's like finding the rabbit hole that spirit wants you to go down, what this dream is really telling you. So it's not dream interpretation. It's very, very different. It can take you to some really incredible places. And then we have Stacy Hernandez, who is she does all our ancestral healing. And then we have Ray Ellen Sievert, who does our astrology. I think you've met some of these ladies already.
Yeah, I've met Ray and Stacy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So yeah, we have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Yes, we have so much fun together. It really is. And that we gel really well as a group. So yeah, it's really wonderful. I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, it's amazing when we recognize how all our gifts and our talents are meant to be shared amongst each other. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, and how
that
beautiful
is the new
that
thing.
becomes. Yeah.
Because we're not doing this alone anymore. And this is part of the not abandoning the realms. We're not abandoning each other either. So now we're working in groups because it's so much more powerful. So when we're getting in a group and just say the Dreamtime Healing Project and we get together as a group, we start dreaming together. You know, like we start to mesh with our energy. And so we can get so much more from that than just an individual dream. Not that we don't do that as well. But working as in a group is the way to go now for us in the future.
Well, Laurel, thank you so much for everything that you shared today. It has been so informative, so fun, so enlightening. Are there any parting messages that you would like to leave us with today? So many.
Well, yes, I'm just going to say, don't come swallowing, forget everything you know. Oh, and the other thing I heard from an Elven King was that time for pining is over.
Yeah.
So what that means is the realms are coming together now. The time for both sides to stop pining over what was, how we were all together at one time and now come together. So that time for pining, if people don't know what pining means, it's like having sorrow over what was. So we're moving on from that now, you know, so we can work together. And these are the things that are happening.
So many wise
And I welcome
things.
you to join me at Forest Wisdom Circle and to anything we offer in Light Body Academy, because it really is a wonderful way to start moving towards these experiences with these other beings and with ourselves, knowing who we really are, rising to our human capabilities.
Oh, beautiful. Can you please tell us where to reach you again and anything else that you're working on? If you haven't mentioned it, you can also tell us where we can find any work that you're currently doing other than, you know, the forest work and Light Body Academy. If there's anything else coming up.
Okay. Well, there, of course, there's Forest Wisdom Circle. So if you go on lightbodyacademy.com and scroll down, there's a little green rectangle. It's the only green thing on the website. You click on that. That's the Fan Elemental Realm portal. So if you go in there, you'll find pretty much everything. The Fae course will be up there. The Photographing the Unseen Realms will be up on May 1st for anyone who wants to do that. And learn how to, well, this is a lot of things in that course about your Fae history, Fae DNA, how to enlighten that within you. Anyway, so many different things. So if you're a real Fae person, you may be very interested in that and how to capture them on camera. And the reason for that is for you to have a relationship with that being. So the ones that come to you on camera, you can have a relationship with that being. Like I have a relationship with Francesca that's ongoing, and she keeps teaching me things. So it's not just to, oh, goody, I want to get a picture on camera. It's to actually start cultivating relationships. So there's that. And there's an oracle deck I will be coming up with that'll eventually be on, and there'll be prints of some of these beings. That will be on lightbodyacademy.com website as well.
Mm.
What else is coming up? Forest Wisdom Circle. I'll be doing a course on Sasquatch that's going to be similar to the Fae course, but not so much about photography, but what, well, yeah, because there's going to be that component too. I have a lot of those pictures as well. Anyway, so I haven't decided what that's going to be about yet, but a Sasquatch course. So meeting Sasquatch, how to do that, those sorts of things. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And you can reach me. I do private sessions. I have an offering to analyze your footage if you're having trouble with that. Some people don't necessarily have or want to have the capabilities to the technical things. It's not really that hard, but I do offer that. And also, I have become recently a fern essence therapist, so that will also be available on the website. And there's a whole rabbit hole with that too. That's a whole other thing. Anyway.
Wow. So many cool things. So many
Yeah.
cool things are happening, Laurel. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I'll
You're
have to take
welcome.
you up on what you're offering. I'm really excited about the work that you're doing. I think it's so beautiful, so amazing. Thank you so much for sitting with
Thank
me
you.
today.
Thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it.